Hey everyone. In today's video, I'm going to be playing Cradlehoof Behemoth. It's a mostly mono green, splashing a couple of other colors archetype, and the whole goal of the archetype is to play one drops, mana acceleration, go as fast as possible into playing larger creatures or creatures that provide you with a lot of advantage way earlier than you're supposed to. This particular build of Cradlehoof is also leveraging the Nadu combo because Cradlehoof decks play quite a lot of creature tutoring. So if we look at our top end, we've got Nadu, Beast Whisperer, and Undermountain Adventure, as well as Atraxa, Cradlehoof, Woodland Beller, and Primeval Titan. The reason we're playing Atraxa is because it's a really good target to Natural Order for, and we can technically cast it in our deck because we're playing Bayou for our Deathrite Shaman. Other than that, when it comes to creature tutors, we're just playing your classic suite of Natural Order, Finale, Green Suns, Court of Calling, Archdruid's Charm, Summoner's Pact, Eladamri's Call, a bunch of mana acceleration in the form of Mana Crypt and Mox Emerald, and then we're playing a Dark Depths combo so that we can get it when we get our Primeval Titan. The points in this deck are Mox Emerald, Mana Crypt, Ancient Tomb, and Natural Order. See you on the other side. All right, welcome back. Jared and I are playing some more best of three, except this time I'm going to be on the Cradlehoof side of the equation. I really liked the look of Jared's list. For anyone who knows like my history, I played Cradlehoof exclusively from I'd say 2014 to 2018, 2019. Let's see here. This hand is pretty medium. I'm going to mulligan. So I played Cradlehoof pretty exclusively from 2014 to 2016. Or sorry, 2019. And I love it. The archetype is just my favorite archetype in the format by a lot. I got a little dejected when they printed Fury, and also when people started playing more Pyrokinesis. Like when I was playing Cradlehoof back in 2015, people weren't on Pyrokinesis really at all. But the combo of Fury plus Pyrokinesis plus just regular red removal felt like quite a lot. Wild Growth is an okay draw. It's not amazing, but I'm just gonna play Fanatic of Ruinous. A large part of this deck is you have to play into what your opponent has. Essentially make them have it. So I play Fanatic and it gets mana leaked. That's fine. I do really want to draw a land here. A land would be a really big deal. Let's see what we draw. Okay, we drew a land. So things like I don't know exactly what Jared's on. I have an idea, but a lot of the time you can't play around like certain things that your opponent could have in this in Hoof. Like you just kind of have to jam. But sometimes you can play around things. So there are moments where you have decisions like not casting your spell into the mana leak, etc. But there, I just didn't really have anything. I can't remember if I'm supposed to go for Savannah or Tropical Island here. Let's see. I have Nadu, Krasis, Oko, and then for white cards, it's just Call, Shaman, Nomads. So it's pretty even. I have more cards that produce white than I do cards that produce blue because I have Absence Pilgrim, I believe. So maybe I'm supposed to get Tropical Island here. Oop, I tapped wrong. Yeah, Wild Growth is a pretty reasonable draw. The enchantments are like kind of secretly some of the best cards in the deck, and really solid with Nykthos. I guess I will play Elvish Visionary and float a green mana, and maybe I hit a mana elf. It's possible that Jared just counterspells this, but that's fine. Got punished for getting the blue. Drew call. It's possible I'm supposed to get white, but the Nomads in Core and Shaman in Core aren't real cards, so I don't actually count them as white spells, which means Eldamri's Call is the only spell in the deck that requires white that I'm actually like wanting to cast right now. Versus if I drew a Nadu or I drew an Oko, I'd probably be pretty happy to just cast them. Well, I'd definitely be happy to cast Oko, obviously, but for Nadu, I probably wouldn't sandbag it at this point. I've let Jer have a lot of time to get set up, and I don't really have a lot of meaningful pressure, so... So if I play Wall of Blossoms and then I draw a land, I can filter Nykthos into mana to play Circle of Dreams Druid. Alternatively, I could just play Wall of Blossoms and Outland Liberator or Eternalize Fanatic of Ronus. Maybe I'm going to Eternalize the Fanatic of Ronus. I don't know. It's hard. Missing land drops in this deck is pretty tough. Like, I definitely... That's not exactly where I want to be. But this allows me to play double or triple spell next turn if it isn't dealt with. But Jared probably has some pieces of removal, which is why I'm kind of leaning towards more mana elves. I'm going to go with my intuition here. I'm just going to cast Wall Blossoms. If I hit a land drop, I get to play Circle of Dreams Druid, and then I have quite a lot of mana to both Flashback Fanatic and cast Vivian. So I could cast Call here, but I think I want to cast Circle of Dreams Druid. This just, like, is probably going to force a removal spell from Jer or some sort of counter spell, depending on, like, what the context of his hand is. Sure. And, like, Jer doesn't know this, but I don't care. I don't think I care as much about the Circle of Dreams Druid at this stage. Just get in for our point of damage, move on. So now my Nykthos will be making mana once I get a creature in play that... Or a permanent play that has a green symbol. Spellseeker, sure. I'm curious what Jer is getting with the Seeker. I'm pretty sure he's playing... Scape Shift. Mana Drain. Okay. Mana Drain is pretty interesting. So what I'm probably going to do now is... Ideally, I hit another land drop. I get to cast Fanatic of Ronus and hold up Eldamri's Call. Caller Beast isn't exactly where I want to be here. I think I'm just going to cast Outland Liberator and pass the turn. Call on Jer's end step. I know he has Mana Drain, so I don't really want to just cast Vivian. Outland Liberator starts to apply pressure, but I mean, if I play Outland Liberator and then I call on Jer's turn, he doesn't even have to counter the call. He can just counter whatever I play next. If I get Fanatic of Ronus, that's all I get to do. I could Liberator into Fanatic. If I Liberator, Jer might Mana Drain to keep Fanatic off as an option if I don't have a land in hand. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's leave with the Liberator, and then I will plan to Fanatic here. I'm not attacking with the Visionary. The green pip for the Nykthos is way more important. Okay, so with Fnatic I have 4... I don't think this has a mana symbol, so I have 4 plus 4 is... I have 10 mana, so if I... if it's funny, this whole game I've been saying, like, if I draw another land, then I get to play two significant threats into Jair's 2 potential counter spells. I could also just start attacking for 6 a turn. It really depends on what Jair does here. Could be a Wrath effect. Green Sun Zenith, okay. I'm trying to think of what you would Green Suns for here. I'm pretty sure Jair's playing Scapeshift, so... is it Dryad? I could see going for Dryad here. I could see... Oh, going for Sakura Tribe Elder. So him going for Sakura Tribe Elder leads me to believe that I'm getting Scapeshifted. Because I don't know why you would get Sakura, like Steve, over other potentially impactful things unless you knew that you were going to be combo killing your opponent. And it makes sense because Jared might have went... when he's spell seeking for mana drain, he might be thinking to himself like, okay, all I have to do is survive like X amount of time, and then I'm going to be able to win through Scapeshifting because I'm at 18. So I have to count mana here. Let's see. If I Nykthos, I make 4 mana, so that is plus 1 mana. So I have 4 here, 5, 6, 10. I'm pretty tempted to try and gain life here, so that I don't lose to 7-land Scapeshift. And 8-land Scapeshift to deal 36 isn't... I guess it is possible in this format, depending on if you're playing like copy lands, but I don't know if Jair is. Woodland Beller is a pretty interesting draw because like that could find Citizen Petitioner, which would gain me some life. I could also theoretically... I could lead on Vivian Monster's Advocate. If Jair mana drains it, then I have leftover mana to Eldamri's Call for Citizen Petitioner, and then I can play the Petitioner and follow up next turn with Garruk and Woodland Bellower. Which is lethal because I can Woodland Bellower for Fierce Empath, get Cradlehoof Behemoth, and then play Garruk and Cradlehoof him. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead on Vivian. Yeah, lead on Vivian. The extra mana. Yeah. So lead on Vivian. If Jair feels compelled to mana drain this, then... then I can call into Citizen Petitioner, which hopefully lets me survive. So the interesting thing is, I don't like Jair. The reason Jair might feel compelled to counter this is because if I have -2 and I cast a creature spell, he can't counter the creature that I find. So if I play Vivian, I -2, and then I do follow up with a creature. He doesn't know that I have a creature or not that I can cast. I don't, but if I do follow up with a creature, then I can just get Citizen Petitioner. Unfortunately, that isn't the case, so I am... Oh, actually, no. Sorry, I make enough mana to get Woodland Bellower here. That's pretty interesting. Because I have 2 extra pips. Wow, it's been a long time since I've hoofed. Let's minus this then. And then we will Nykthos for 6. I have to cast Woodland Bellower here. This Vivian's going to trigger. So I can get 4 drops and lower. I mean, I'm pretty sure I just have to get the Citizen Petitioner to gain life. Like, I'm actually in a pretty good spot here. So I'm hoping just not to die to combo. So let's get Petitioner. I'll gain a bunch of life. Jared's gonna mana drain this. And now I just have to hope he doesn't have anything relevant to do with the rest of his mana. If I attack with both and he doesn't sack Steve, I think I'm probably okay with that. I don't really care about this Outland Liberator, so let's just do that. I still don't want to attack with the Visionary. This trade still isn't that good for me. Like, I don't care that Jared has a Spellseeker. And the reason I attack there, even though I know that he's going to block and sacrifice Steve, is it's possible that he doesn't actually want to or need to sacrifice Steve. So if I don't attack there, the next turn he gets to block like a 4/4 if I end up deciding to attack with it. So overall, it's just better. It reduces the amount of Jared's options. Or he just takes like an extra 2 damage, which could matter. Alright, let's see what you have with the big mana drain. Oh, Primeval Titan. Okay. So I have the win in hand if Jer has nothing. Unless he gets, like, some sort of land that stops me from winning, like Glacial Chasm, I guess. I'm actually really impressed with this card. I was never one to play the 4-mana version of this. There's like a 4-mana 3/3 that does exactly the same thing. You gain life equal to your devotion. Oh, Field of the Dead. Interesting. So if I play Garruk and then and he doesn't counter it, I like know he doesn't have a counter spell anyways, so maybe I'm supposed to call first. Okay, well, actually, I might be in a position where I get to play Garruk if he... oh, he's returning an island to make more zombies. Okay. I could be in a position where I play Garruk and then he counters it, and if I have enough mana, I can call plus play Cradlehoof, although I don't think I have enough mana for that. Jer only has 1 card in hand, so I mean I'm just gonna push for the win here. Sort of regardless of what he does. If I play Garruk and he counters it, then I'll just cast Call and get Cradlehoof Behemoth, and then like I'll just force Jer to have it. But yeah, anyways, as I was saying, the Citizen Petitioner is like surprisingly good. Like, I think the fact that you can get it off of Woodland Bellower is actually like such a big deal. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 colored pips. So I can make 8 mana with these 2 sources, the 2 mana here in Nykthos. So 9, 10, 14. So I have enough for Garruk plus Call plus 6 drop. 7 drop if I use Breeding Pool. I don't have black, so I can't cast Atraxa. Uh, okay, well, let's take 2 from our pool here. I guess I'm supposed to cast Garruk first before I tap lands for call. Let's see, 4. Yeah, okay. Let's cast Garruk first. Okay, so now here what we're going to do is I'm going to make my infinite devotion. Then I'm going to cast call. And there's Garruk's -3 is a dramatic entrance, so it puts a card into play. Yeah, that's enough. Yo!
If I didn't tap like a Dongus, you would have lost.
Really? Interesting.
I could have Bring to Lighted for Scape Shift. That's why I needed the Savannah untapped.
Oh, I see.
I didn't have 4 colors.
Was Scape Shift a kill there?
Yeah, I had 10 lands.
And I'm on 26. But one of your land... Oh, it's just a kill because you deal 27.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And like, I would... If I couldn't have killed you, I would have regrowed Mana Drain instead.
Yeah, I figured you had me. I thought you had me, or you had me like the next turn, and just had to hope I didn't have anything.
No, yeah. Because I could have got lands with Primeval Titan, so like the only reason to get land was to kill you that turn.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, tapped like a dingus.
The Citizen Petitioner, I was telling everyone that card's surprisingly good. Like,
it's so important.
The difference between, because Nylia's Disciple, which I just remember the name for, that's like the 4-mana version, and we played it basically when Nylia's Disciple came out for a little bit, and then we ultimately just eschewed it for like Thragtusk, like and Kitchen Finks, yeah. Like
sometimes Obstinate Baloth, like.
But as soon as you put that card down to 3 mana, it's actually like so important. The fact that you can get it off of Woodland Beller is like such a big deal.
When I was hoping you were gonna try to be greedy and not get it with the trigger, and I'm like, please. Then you were dead that turn.
Well, yeah, I was like, I had to cast. I was telling the viewer that Hoof sometimes has these lines where you lead with something and it's kind of bad for your opponent either way. And Vivian was actually really interesting there. I've never used the minus on Vivian before, but like
I told you that card's good.
It was amazing there. Like it made it so that you weren't able to win the next turn. So yeah,
such a good bait spell.
Oh, an amazing bait spell, like so strong.
Well, and if you can also if you just stick it like turn 2 or 3 against a fair deck, just like making a never-ending army of beasts, like drawing cards because you get to cast cards off the top of your deck, like very, very good.
Yeah, totally. I've been really surprised at how good this card is because we've had a bunch of 5-mana planeswalkers that are kind of analogous to this, right? Like
other OG Vivian, like
I think the -2 really is kind of what pushes this thing into the next level, though. Like
yeah, totally.
That's just such a threatening ability.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck, buddy.
You too.
Okay, so we were dead. So these types of hands are pretty interesting. Like, do you keep the one-lander is, like, a pretty fascinating question. Right now, let's say everything goes well. Everything goes according to plan. I play Ignoble Hierarch, it doesn't die. Then I put Wild Growth on my land and play Scavenging Ooze, and hopefully I've drawn another land. Then on turn 3, I get to play a Nissa. I think the fundamental problem with these hands is, like, depending on the matchup, you kind of have to, like, hope you're going to Disneyland. And since I'm not on the play, I think that changes the context of whether or not I would keep this hand quite a lot. Like, I think if I get to lead with Ignoble Hierarch and then put JR on the spot to have 1-mana removal before I get to play Wild Growth into a Scavenging Ooze, I think that's quite a lot better. And this hand is basically already a mulligan with Shaman and Core in it, with no no ways of searching up creatures except for Woodland Bellower, which like I'd have to get to 6 mana, which means I'd have to draw 2 lands, and Jared would have to not have any way to interact with me. I just don't think this hand is really that reliable, so I'm gonna mulligan. Okay, this hand is obviously good. I need to figure out what I'm gonna keep here. So I could turn 1 Green Sun Zenith for a 2-drop. I don't know if that's really where I want to be. I can't Green Suns or Summoner's Pact for the other half of the Nadu combo. Like I can get Nadu, but I can't get anything else. So I'm not really like that interested in trying to Nadu combo, which means I need to figure out what the best fair application of this is. I could Forest into Mana Crypt, get Raphellos, and then play Forest and try and play turn 2 Titan with Summoner's Pact. Which means I would want to keep Thespian Stage Forest, and get rid of Noble Hierarch. I could also alternatively keep Noble Hierarch, bin a Forest, play Noble Hierarch on turn 1, and then turn 2 play land, plus Mana Crypt, Green Sunning for 4. Getting like Beast Whisperer and the like. I think that might be a little weaker. I am on 6, so I think I'm incentivized to Green Suns on turn 1 here and really put Jared to the test. It's possible there's something else that I'm forgetting that would be better to Green Suns for as well on turn 1. I could have gotten rid of Stage, actually, now that I think about it, because if I do end up Summoner's Pacting for Titan, I don't need the Stage in my hand. So I think maybe I'm supposed to keep Noble Hierarch. But it's pretty complicated. Also, for what it's worth, the hoof that I had practice with and I'd played for many, many years is green-red. It was a lot more fair. Like, this is more of a hoof deck with Nadu combo. Okay, wow, so Core Calling's really good. So I get to go Forest, Mana Crypt. I'm gonna Green Suns for Raphellos. And now Court of Calling I can play on Jair's end step into Summoner's Pacting on my turn. So let's get Raphellos here. Court of Calling is one of the best cards in the deck in counterspell matchups. Just because you get to do it on their end step. Like, you just don't interact on your opponent's turn or at instant speed very often in this deck. So breaking that swerve is pretty powerful. So if Jared had a removal spell for Raphellos, he would have removed it. He's not just going to like play land and try to counter the next thing I have, because that could be pretty dangerous. So I'm going to assume that he doesn't have like a removal spell. I'm just going to play this Forest and I'll pass the turn. I have 6 mana, so I can chord for 3. But depending on what Jared does, I might actually just chord for 1. Get Nomads in Core and then Summoner's Pact for Nadu, potentially. I guess I can't cast the Nadu. We'll see. I might just chord for Eternal Witness, get back chord. Jared's going to put me on Court of Calling here for sure, though. The nice thing about this Court of Calling with Raphellos specifically is, like, if Jared points a removal spell at my Raphellos right now, I can actually add the mana, let it die, then chord for Eternal Witness, getting back Raphellos if I'd like. Because I do have Hoof and Pact in my hand. Wait, Jared's on 3 cards? Did Jared, like, hyper mulligan? Oh, wow, he did. He went to 4. Okay. I could have courted then, but I'm not that worried about it. Because if I get to land a Titan, I'm pretty happy. Okay, so Jared doesn't have chord. He probably doesn't have any interaction at all. So the question is, what do I get? I don't think I want to get Nadu. I just like find it pretty unlikely that I'm going to be able to combo at this stage. If I get a Turtle Witness, I can get back Cord, which I think might be the best use of my mana here, because then I just can do it on Jer's next end step again to find something more substantial. So yeah, let's just do that. So we Ewit back the Cord. Take some damage. Play stage. Play Arbor Elf, because it counts the same for Cord. I could Cord now, but I don't know. I'm not that worried. I think I have to imagine Jer has some way of interacting with me. I don't really know what that is. I mean, he might just have mulliganed into the dirt. So I could copy a forest with my mana crypt to make Rafellis make one more mana, but that makes my Cord 1, 4, 3 again. And right now I can Cord for 5. I don't think there's any 5 drops, so I think I'm going to Cord for 4 here. To avoid Are there 5 drops? There's no Titania. I don't think there are any 5 drops. Just avoid Daze here. Could have drawn it. Getting dazed is pretty bad. I tapped like a don. Oh, that was last game. I tapped like a dongus. Okay, so counterspell the Cord, sure. I think my hoof just gets me there here. Okay, I can crop rotation for Cradle, which is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to add mana with Rafellis now first. Then I'll crop rotation for Cradle. Where is it? Guy's Cradle. Oh. It's possible Jer has Force of Will and just hasn't been using it because it's like a bunch of my targets are low value, but pretty rough just mulliganing to 4. Like,
okay, so my first hand was no lands, second hand 1 land, third hand no lands, and I'm playing 40.